quartet of fusion jazz. This was their biggest selling album ever, I believe, but it came as they were climbing out of the shadow of Miles Davis, where some of them had played. Before that, Ya Pepe with Anton Mikko from the album String Tease, a little bit of Finnish violin. And we started the set off with Eye Inside the Old Eye is Dying from our featured artist of the day, PJ Harvey, and her brand new album, Eye Inside the Old Year Dying. And right now, with me in the studio is West Avenue Band, who will be playing tonight at ArtStart at 7 o'clock. So if I'll have you introduce yourselves.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening. We're the West Avenue Band. Made up myself, Quinn O'Mara. I got over here on the lead guitar.
Tristan Pankratz on lead guitar.
And I'm Rhiannon Steins, and I play the bass.
All right. How would you describe your music for the folks out there?
Our music is akin to like late 60s, early 70s power trio, to the times when like Cream and Blue Cheer, Jimi Hendrix was around. Heavily influenced by that kind of music.
Okay.
Very blues-inflected electric music.
So then there's the Roots connection to the Roots series, right? Drawing on Electrifying the Blues.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, certainly.
All right. So who in particular got you started down this path?
Well, my father was in a band, during the late 60s, early 70s, and they were a power trio. He was a drummer, lead vocalist, so that's where I get it from. I take after him with that. And, they opened for like Herman's Hermits, Ted Nugent back in the day. So they got around. They were all over the country. And he's really what inspired me to begin playing. He passed away back in 2020, and that's when we kind of started the band after that, and that's what inspired us a lot.
How about the Rhiannon? What?
I never really had a musical history, but upon meeting Quinn, he taught me how to play, and we kind of learned together and built our rhythm section for the band and kind of founded West Avenue Band together and went from there.
West Avenue come from kind of where you started?
So we were called West Avenue Electric Company when we started, and we had another guitar player. It didn't really last very long, but...
Too many phone calls asking for fiber optic cable.
Yeah, we decided to change the name a few months after.
But we do live on West Avenue in Fifield, Wisconsin, a little shack on the South Fork of the Flambeau.
Yeah.
So my dad gave me a guitar like 5 years ago, and I started learning from YouTube. And then I joined, me and my best friend at school, we had our own band. And then after 2 years, we kind of broke up, I guess, and then I joined with Quinn and Rhi. So
what is it about the power trio that attracts you?
There's a lot of good bands like Nirvana, Rush, Jimi Hendrix, Cream, and lots of duos too, like the Black Keys, so that I like. I don't know. Just getting a big sound out of 3 instruments, it's cool, I think. So, and it gets really complicated when there's like 5, 6, 7 members.
Yeah, splitting the doors easier with 3.
like some of the southern rock bands like Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner.
It can force you to be more creative given the limitations of having 3, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
cranking the amps too.
Yeah, you go back to the late 60s, early 70s. James Gang, for example.
Yeah.
Love James Gang.
Yeah, very influential Midwestern band.
Absolutely.
Coming out of Cleveland like that. Well, how about, I've got a cut here that has you provided, and I've been shown a way to get it off the computer, so I am going to do that right now. Let me mute the mics, and then let's hear Free and Easy from West Avenue Band. you're hitting the red a little bit in that one, even when I kept turning it down. A little bit of gain going on, right? Gain's important for a power trio.
Certainly. Yeah, we like to keep it loud and in your face. Lots of reverb.
So, did I hear you right talking to Dale as it was playing? You recorded that in your living room.
We sure did, in an old shack in a house built in like 1898.
So, does it have good acoustics, or do you just overcome them with the amps?
A little bit of mix of both. It does have really nice cedar wood on the inside that provides pretty nice acoustics. But there's a lot. It's just really loud too.
Okay. Now you've recorded how many songs at this point? You said almost enough for an album, but not quite.
Written almost enough for an album. Recorded 3 or 4 songs only. Tracks.
So that's the goal, is to keep recording.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have some connections out west. We're gonna fly out to California soon and hopefully record an album out there.
Cool. So when you do your recordings, have you been doing them basically recording live, all playing together at once?
Yeah, we do the old school live way. So things bleed through, but it's cool. It's a fun learning experience, especially because being the drummer and lead vocalist, I have to. It's tricky getting the drums and vocals to record at the same time without overcoming each other.
Yeah. Hard to keep your breath too. But there's been a lot of classic singing drummers when you get power trios.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'm highly influenced by a lot of those guys.
I'll have you pull it over there and talk to me about when you're the only guitar in a band.
Yeah. So I have to play rhythm and lead. So it's kind of tough, and I got to have like a big sound. So I like turn my reverb pedal like all the way up. So it's like a huge sound.
And a little distortion, fuzz.
Yeah,
maybe?
Distortion, overdrive. I use a tube screamer. So,
Okay.
But yeah, overdrive and fuzz. I don't have a distortion pedal, but I want one. So,
Okay,
yeah.
like a classic SD1 or something.
Yeah.
If you've already got a tube screamer, you're in the old school part of pedals already.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like a rat distortion.
A rat.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's probably like this 5 or so that you could say are the ones from back in that day that were pioneering these sounds.
Yeah.
And the rat certainly.
Because we may do a Metallica song one day.
So if any of our Edge listeners are out there, these guys I think are kind of more up your alley than the usual Crossroads Cafe fare, but that's okay with me. Anyway, and back to Rhiannon, tell me about your learning curve coming into.
So, like I said, I didn't really have a background in music. So I kind of started learning with like roots and basic stuff. Simple things get me though. They're not always my friend. I like to go complicated a lot. And through like learning some really hard songs off the bat, I've built great like influences, and I've learned a lot and have to keep up with these two. They're always tearing it up, ripping. And
Well, good solid bottom end though, from a steady base. It doesn't have to always be fancy, right? And with a power trio, like you said, you're all filling a lot of space individually.
Sure. So like Tristan said, I'm kind of doing, I'm keeping rhythm, but I'm also kind of doing this like melody thing, kind of keeping it interesting and keeping that full sound together is really the big challenge. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So writing together, you write individually? Do you get an idea and then write it all together?
We kind of, I write all the lyrics myself, and then Tristan, he'll usually come up with a guitar lick, and we'll come together to practice, and he'll say, I got something new, and let's try it out, and then Rhiannon, she'll just jam with it, write something down right there, and, I just have a lot of lyrics, and we'll see what fits, and, we just kind of go with it. It's pretty simple, and we're able to communicate pretty well, there's not really any problems as far as if we want to change something. We're always willing to try.
You're not arm wrestling, trying to say, I want my stuff first.
No, it's usually, we're always trying to put the creative process ahead of that. We're always honest with each other.
So have you been writing lyrics for a long time? I mean,
Here and there, I dabble, I suppose.
okay. So, not to put a point on it, but how old are you?
Myself, I'm 24. He's 18, and she's 24 as well.
Okay. So a couple of year old age, and back in the day, 18-year-olds were not uncommon in rock bands in the late 60s and early 70s. 13, so.
I started playing live.
Yeah, we always lied about his age when we were out playing out at bars when we first started.
Well, they got you in, right? So that's what matters.
Yeah.
Because they can't do it without you. So you mentioned some old influences. Is there anybody today, and I consider the Black Keys at this point to be kind of veterans, but I mean, any of the newer bands that you're listening to?
For sure, yeah. Well, I'll let the guitar guy give his. We all kind of have different tastes when it comes to that.
So yeah, I'm really big into Greta Van Fleet.
Okay.
So I seen them live about 1.5 years ago, and they were by far the best band I've seen live. So.
And of course, they're heavily influenced by classic rock.
Yeah, and they're like really new too. I think they're only like 10 years old, but as a band. And another band that's pretty new is Rival Sons.
Okay.
So Jay Buchanan and Scott Holliday, they're really big influences on me as a guitar player. So yeah, those two for newer bands, and maybe even Nathaniel Ratliff.
Okay.
And the Night Sweats. So
heard of them.
On the drum end of things, I'm a big fan of Radio Moscow and El Perro. And again, they're just like pretty much a harken back to those power trio days. Big fan of the Raconteurs, Queens of the Stone Age.
Like the new Queens album?
I've only heard one song. It was I enjoyed it. I saw them live. I definitely enjoy their heavier stuff more, but more modest. We really listen to a lot of older music. It's funny.
So not only was your dad in a band, he had a good record collection?
Oh, I have a huge record collection. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and Rhiannon?
Come on here. She's hiding.
So yeah, like Quinn was saying, Radio Moscow and El Perro, they're a big inspiration for me, especially in the power trio sense of things. I recently discovered Marcus King. I really like his guitar work a lot, and the whole blues rock thing that's going on there. It's really cool. Yeah, King Gizzard. And
the Lizard Wizard, yes,
Yeah.
Australia's finest.
Oh yeah, just lots of cool stuff all over the place nowadays, and they're like mixing genres, and it's just really interesting.
No two King Gizzard albums the same.
No.
And they now, I don't know if you're ever going to catch up with their work ethic though, because what do they put out 3 to 4 albums a year?
Those guys are inhuman. I don't know what's going on there. That's some of the most incredible stuff I've seen.
Insomnia? I don't know, because they must be recording all the time.
Australia is on some different stuff.
Well, I'll tell you about a band off the air that I can't quote on the air. So, anyway, but I mean, you've got Emil and the Sniffers and bands like that.
Oh yeah. I like a lot of punk rock too.
Yeah, because
hardcore punk, but a lot of that from the 80s.
Yeah, because there's a lot of trios and punk trios too.
Yeah.
Minutemen.
Minutemen. I like Black Flag and TSOL. Minor Threat, things like that. I mean, just really raunchy, hardcore.
So what's the scope of things people will hear tonight? I mean, are there ones that are just going to slam them, and then there's others that you back off a little bit? Or...
Yeah, there's a little bit of some like slower blues, psych jam kind of stuff in there for sure, and kind of some slower sludge inflicted kind of thing going on for a couple originals. But again, a lot of that blues power trio kind of music.
Okay. Well, I think that, unless there's something else you have to add. I mean, what's it like in Fifield these days? I mean, it's not your classic rock headquarters.
No, it's very slow. There's a saying, where less is more. That's Fifield. No, there's not much. We need to get out of there.
Now, Fifield, don't take that wrong. You know, but were there bands in high school or not? I mean, was there anybody that, like, you could say, well, they're doing it, so we
okay,
can.
I kind of have a funny story to go with that. It goes back to how I started drumming. This was 2015. I was a sophomore in high school, and there was a kid who plays around. His name's Shane Cromiger, and he sent an email out to the school asking, hey, I want to start a band. Does anybody know how to play drums or bass? And me at the time, I didn't know how to play any drums or guitars. And I sent an email back and said, yeah, I know how to play drums. I'll be your drummer. And so I go home that night and I asked my dad, hey, you got to teach me how to play drums. This kid wants to do a rehearsal in the morning before school. And he goes, okay, I'll teach you how to play drums. And so I went in that morning and we started a little high school Beatle band kind of thing, and it lasted a while.
What was the first beat your dad taught you? Just a straight?
Oh, a typical 4/4.
4/4.
Yeah, just and he taught me to always be moving my feet even when I'm not doing anything. I practice all the time. I'm always drumming on myself.
That's
Just
the
with my
sign of a
hands.
real drummer.
Yeah.
And it's the
People
sign
get-
of real rock and roll that you said, I can play the drums whether you could or not.
Just go fast and commit. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not the first that started bands that way, where everybody pretended that they could do
Yeah,
something.
that's like the Sex Pistols thing, you know.
Yep. Yep. Well, my wife saw X back in their very early days, and then we saw them in their 25th anniversary tour of the LA album, and I said, well, how are they compared to back then when you saw them? And she said, they can play their instruments a lot better now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the more you play, right? And the more you play together. But that, you've got to start here. People can come out and check where you're at right now and look forward to the day that you go out west and make that album.
Yeah, for sure. We're really looking forward to it ourselves. We've had a lot of momentum. We're going to keep the ball rolling here, I think.
All right. The West Avenue Band tonight at 7 p.m. at ArtStart as part of the Roots concert series. Admission is by free will donation, and that money goes to pay the band. So help these folks from Fifield keep it on their rock and roll path. And I'm the Reverend Jeff, and I want to thank the West Avenue Band for stopping in this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Okay, now we're going to go